Good afternoon, good evening, whatever else by the time you watch this. Happy belated St. Patty's Day for all those who took part in the fine festival of drink and merriness. We'll leave that there. And there was not a
There's a
snake to
reason
be
I wore a
found.
top hat yesterday.
There was not a snake to be found. Anyways,
Oh, I found a snake yesterday. Anyway, go ahead.
well, that was yesterday, not Friday. Today we're going to be talking about the 2012 epic historic war drama film For the Greater Glory that was put on the docket for us to watch by young gentleman Jack. So we're going to be talking about that today. I highly, and I'll say this in the very beginning of the show, I highly, recommend everybody go watch this film. It's not a popcorn and soda movie. It's one of those movies that you need to take serious because it's a serious movie. And it helps if you're Catholic.
It does.
If you're Protestant, go watch something else.
Yeah, you shouldn't be here anyways.
Hey. You guys
Yeah, I know you're a Protestant. We call
at least he's not Lutheran. Anyways, moving on.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm going to go to hell. Anyways, yeah, no, I'm Catholic. I can get away with this.
He's just mad because the Baptists don't drink, so that's why he can't become a Baptist. Just go ahead.
He's not that wrong.
I am a Baptist, and I quit drinking not because of that.
Yeah.
No, I know.
So, Jack,
Yes.
you have a history of picking out movies that are less than dubious.
I don't. Wait, hold on. Less dubious is bad. Okay, yeah. I'll say I only ever picked out one crappy movie. All right, I planned to pick two, but only
No,
one.
you picked out two.
No, I planned to pick two crappy movies. One of them turned out to be fantastic.
Star Wars was pretty bad. Anyway.
No, I'm talking about the scientists.
I know.
The scientists sucked, all right? And I picked it because I knew it would suck. Xenophobia was supposed to be the same thing. Also, there was like 100 copies of it lying around, so I had to get one.
No, you don't.
Yes, but
Just so you know.
it's a fantastic movie, and I'm so glad they're making a sequel.
And this is where I jump off the bridge. Anyways, holding hands with Dan. With that being said, why did you pick? Oh, we lost Mark. Hopefully he'll hop back.
He'll come back. He'll come on.
All right. Why did you pick this movie? Why this movie outside of the, you just want to see yourself in one of those hats with guacamole and chips?
I can wear this hat whenever I want, first of all, but I chose this movie because I've been wanting to watch this movie. I think there's another movie that is another Mexican historical film. I don't know if it exists or not. I see clips from some. That's besides the point.
I can't explain this.
I wanted to pick it because it was historical. I needed something historical, and I was already going to watch this movie eventually, so I thought, why not show it here? It's a movie that needs to be seen. This is a topic that most people don't know about. In Mexico, it's covered, but we still follow that constitution, so it's not particularly looked on with the right lens.
Right. No, I get that. I get that. Now, me and you are both Catholic. We've joked around that multiple times on this.
Yeah.
Show. Did you pick it outside of the historical reference, but because it was highly Catholic as well?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we'll get into it, but a couple of these guys became martyrs in the movie, and at least the kid becomes a saint, which rightfully so.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I was just wondering if that was more. What was the bigger draw? A historical aspect to it that draws from your culture, or the religious aspect of it being Catholic?
Well, I would say that maybe the purely analytical historical lens is absolute. The the historical side of it to me is just not just as important, is intertwined with the cultural and religious aspect of it. I mean, religion and culture are inherently intertwined. So yeah, because
I mean nothing by it. I'm just curious.
yeah, yeah.
I think this was a great movie and this was a great pick. And I will be asking everybody else some questions, including yourself. So let's get into that madness. Now, Shadow pointed out earlier before show got started that he thinks he was able to ring everybody's favorite character with that great detective mind of his. Now, we'll play that game here in a little bit. We'll play that game. I like playing games.
The only one I think I could be wrong with would be Mark's, because it could have gone either way. Jackie, he had a particular pick early on, and I don't know if he's stuck with it or not. So, but I think I got I got Connell pegged easy, and Omen.
I think I know who Jack's is. I might be wrong, but I think I know who Jack's pick was. Now, how should I start? What question should I ask? How should I start this off? All right, I'll ask Omen now. Now, was there a particular part of this movie that grabbed your attention than any other part? Was it something that just drew you and was like, oh crap, I need to stop what I'm doing, pay attention to the scene? Do I need to rewind the scene, turn up the volume, whatever? Was there a particular scene in the movie?
I'm trying to think of a few of. I mean, there are a lot of really good scenes. Like we've talked about this. I'm trying to think of what really got me into it. I think what I really liked was the. I kind of like when they're all talking about the. Well, one is this is completely unfamiliar to me, so I'm not even familiar with this. So that's why I enjoyed it. I sat down not knowing on how things went for the most part. It wasn't really the combat scenes. I think that it did a good job as far as some of the political aspects behind. But I'm trying to think of I probably just liked the priest. When they had the Peter O'Toole as the priest, and he's there, and they're not saying it's a great scene, but the whole thing where he has the which sounds terrible. I can't remember the young boy's name, but where he has the pocket watch, and
Yeah.
he talks about it and he picks it up, puts it in, and he says, well, I guess he left it somewhere else. And then he pulls the pocket watch out. I thought that was really good for that aspect, that interaction with him. And it's more than just one scene there, but like he initially starts off by throwing an egg at the priest. And at the end, and then it goes through and he forms his bond with him until the priest gets shot. I enjoyed that aspect. It was, I liked Peter O'Toole for that, but it was really just, here's an old priest who's kind of like, where am I going to go? And yet they, you can tell that was really a man of faith. And, but I liked him with the young boy for that, those interactions.
That makes sense. What about you, Jack? Was there any one scene that grabbed your attention?
One scene that grabbed my attention. Well, I wouldn't say that there are any particular scenes that grabbed my attention, and I'm going to leave that one scene for somebody else to say because we all know what I'm talking about. But I mean, I knew everything. I knew how it was going to end. I knew all the political situation. So I liked just the portrayal of everything, of how they portrayed the political situation, the feelings of the public towards the whole, like the president, all that stuff. I liked the speech at the beginning. Well, I didn't like it, but I liked the portrayal of the speech at the beginning. It just kind of, because when I first watched it, I would say that like that beginning scene, not of like the introduction with the text, but when Kaez gives his speech, I liked the portrayal of that.
That's fair. I have to say, he's probably one of my new favorite bad guys.
Yeah, he was a he's definitely an underrated historical bad guy. I mean, everyone talks about like, oh, who are the worst people from the 20th century? Hitler, Stalin. Like everyone forgets, but he was.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think that, yeah, the actor Ruben Blades, Ruben Blades played that character incredibly well. All right, what about you, Mark?
Favorite scene or part of the movie is probably when they did the heist on the train, and then when they went to set the train on fire and all that, and he realized he met the warrior priest guy. Realized he messed up. That kind of cemented the deal that they needed somebody, a central chain of command, a guy that knew what he was doing, that kind of had to start organizing and running things, and that was probably my favorite part.
Yeah, that scene with Father Vega.
Vegas, yes.
Vegas.
I thought it was Sanchez. Okay.
No.
Yeah, no. What about you, Shadow?
Well, you're kidding me, right?
The scene with the dogs?
No. Actually, there was two, but the clear winner has to be the gunfight with 14. That was just that was pretty damn cool. I mean, you know me, that was the that was the western part of it for me. I'm like, okay, I'm in it. But the scene where the general and his wife are walking down the street, and he decides, you could see, he's like doing it, for his wife and his daughters. That was pretty powerful.
I think my favorite scene is also one of the most tragic scenes in the movie.
I mean, the end, I thought that was really good also, but go ahead.
The kid, I'm not going to try to pronounce that name. Jose.
Wait, which one? The Saint?
The Saint.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
My Spanish is non-existent, and I'm not going to try to,
Jose.
Little Jose. Jose. The scene where he gets murdered.
Snuff?
I mean, there's no other way to put it. They roll him
ceremoniously.
Into the grave, and if you look close, there's a little red cross.
Yeah.
In the dirt.
He digs it into the dirt with his hand and his own blood.
And to me, the symbology of that entire scene, to me was probably one of my favorite parts. Not because I want to see the kid get killed, quite the opposite. I was kind of hoping for some dumb reason that he was going to make it out alive. Stupid me, right?
Well, no, the kid, the boy. Oh, son of a! I just stabbed myself with a knife. The little boy knew he was walking to his death.
Right.
And he still tried to be as Christ-like in his ending as possible. Even I'm going home.
I thought that was an absolutely beautiful, tragic scene, and it was probably one of my favorite scenes in the movie. Outside of him talking to Andy Garcia. What? Other than him? Well, no. I mean, the scene where he's talking to the general, Andy Garcia's character, about the Frisian horse.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was a really good scene, and he's like, "If I ever had a son, I would love it to be you." Yeah, I don't know. I have issues. What can I say? Now, I know. I don't know how to put this. Religion is religion. I'm a big fan of faith, not so much religion. I think religion has its own issues where faith is beautiful. Now, I didn't catch this. Well, I did catch this, but I didn't quite understand this. So, Jack, maybe you can explain to me, why was the El Presidente so anti-Catholic?
Well, he was a general during the Mexican Revolution, and he was, whilst he wasn't, there's no way I can say that he was a communist or a Bolshevik. That's inaccurate. He actually had he worked with the Gold Shirt Militia, which was a neo-pagan, essentially a Nazi group, and he worked with them throughout the latter years of his semi-presidency. His political career is very complicated. Puppet presidents until eventually one exiled him from the country. But he just really despised religion. He was super secular, there he goes again, super atheist. And he believed that because the religious were the most in favor of the old Diaz regime, or at least generally they were, the clergy was more specifically, the actual people didn't really care. And also he believed that clergy born in foreign countries were selling out Mexico to foreign interests, which is ironic considering he worked very, very heavily with the U.S. government, but that's how they all are. They say they're trying to save the country from becoming a puppet of foreign corporations and stuff, and then they just sell out the company to the country to the U.S. Happens all the time. But yeah, he believed that not only was it a reactionary force that was driving Mexico towards the old Diaz regime, but also that it was hindering their independence.
Gotcha. All right. Now, I'm kind of skirting around some of the thoughts I've had on this movie because they're just that movie is a rough movie, but it's really good. Was there any actors, not the character, but the actors themselves, that you thought did a really good job in this movie?
Every one of them except one.
This movie had for the I don't want to say Spanish, that community
Let's just say it's Mexican. Damn it, they're
Mexican.
But I don't know. I don't think all of them were Mexican. I think some of them. I don't.
I know. Well, no, I mean that everyone is pretty much Hispanic, but that's fine, But damn it, it's a Mexican movie. They got a bunch of actors that live like right next to you.
I get that. I just don't want the woke community.
And besides, if they're from Central America,
Who
they
cares
should
about the woke community? We give them flipping birds.
So,
and if they're like Salvadoran or Panamanian or whatever, they should just be Mexican anyways.
Right. It's like I know Oscar Isaac.
Right, Mark?
Mark had to go lay down. He's like, I'm done with this conversation. I'm out. No, it's like, yeah, the guy who played the rancher, he's like, I can't even pronounce where he's from, but that's not Mexico. But is there any of the actors in here that you really drawn to? It was like really happy. I thought they did a really good job in it.
The guy who played Father Vega, or the one that burned everybody in the
Santana, man, these names are really killing me.
I liked him. I liked his character. I thought he did. The funny thing is, I think Andy Garcia is the one that I thought was actually kind of the weakest as being the general. Not that I didn't like him as a character. It's just that he just felt so bland compared to everybody else. Everyone else really held their own. The other one I really liked was, and I don't remember her name. It feels bad, but the lady that was smuggling everything in, and where they were having the party, and then she hides and she watches as they shoot the guys.
Yeah.
I don't remember her name. That sounds bad, but I like her as well. I thought that
Adrian? I'm not going to pronounce. I don't think I'm not going to say her real name because I can't pronounce that.
But those are two that I liked. I thought that they held the screen pretty well for what they did. I thought that they did a good job. And of course, they're younger at this time, so they're in their 30s or so. So I think they did a really good job. where some of the older actors are. Yeah, let's just be honest. Ruben Blades is great, and everything I've watched him in, even when I was watching him in what was it, Return of the Walking Dead or whatever that is, I liked him. Whatever character he does a very good job at. I don't think he gets enough credit myself, but this one he's kind of understated again, just because he doesn't have a big part. So I can't knock someone for not getting a big part, but those are the two that stood out for me was that one lady and the one that played the priest.
All right, Jack.
I couldn't say I have one particular favorite actor, especially because that would hint towards Shadow's list. But I will say something just in general about the actors is I noticed an inconsistency in accent. And not just when the Americans showed up, because obviously they would have American accents, but there were some characters that were very obviously Mexican that didn't have a noticeable accent at all when everybody around them very obviously did. And it was that part was weird. It was only noticeable, or I not noticed, I probably noticed it more times than I remember, but I only remember it twice. It was the guy with the circular glasses and playing chess with one of the military guys. I don't know if it was Gorostieta or somebody else, or if it was one of the federal guys. But yeah, that's really my only problem with the movie is just the inconsistency in accent. But if I were to point out like a character that I did like the actor, I can't believe I'm forgetting his name. The priest in the beginning of the movie.
Peter O'Toole, the old guy.
I think so.
You're talking about the one that was really old that was shot?
Yes.
Yeah, that's Peter O'Toole. Peter O'Toole's a very famous actor. Just you see him in, we can go through his lately, but I think that'd take too long. This is his final film too. This was his final film.
You could be right, but you liked him. You liked his character.
Well, I like his actor. I like his character too. But.
Yeah, considering that Peter O'Toole died in 2013, this very well could have been his last film.
Well, this was his final theatrical, I guess, endeavor.
Another one of those actors, the old-time actors, had a hell of a career.
Well, wasn't he? And I can get it wrong. Wasn't he also in Clash of the Titans? And he did Lawrence of Arabia. And
He did Lawrence of Arabia, which I need to watch for my own damn self.
I'll say this much: it's a good film. It's just long. It has an intermission. It's so long.
Yeah. Well, I forgot he was in Supergirl. Then again, I try to forget the movie. Anyways, what about you, Mark?
Favorite actors, probably I like Oscar Isaac's character, and then I also liked, I'm not sure of the guy's name. I know I've seen him before. The guy that was playing the ambassador for the U.S.
Oh, that's
I thought he did a really good job.
Bruce Greenwood.
Okay.
He is, I like Bruce Greenwood. I've liked him in most of his films. He even was the voice of Batman in one of the animated movies.
Okay.
Shadow, who was your favorite actor or actress?
Are we gonna do our least favorite?
We'll do that after this one.
Okay, let me just segue into that by saying everybody was great. I had absolutely no issues with anybody whatsoever. They were all phenomenal. This is a great movie. Jackie, you definitely educated all of us, and thank you for that. But the worst actor, without a shadow of a doubt, worst actor, worst character, the man who played little Jose's dad. I don't know why you would take the part. It would be like, no. If that's the only part you're offering me, here you go. I'll find another movie. That character was the most despicable character I've seen in a very long time. Not once, but twice. saying, "Go ahead and kill my son." He's not going to say these words for you. Go ahead and kill my son. Screw you. You kill my son, you're going to kill me too. Because that's I know he was adopted, but screw you guys. I don't want to be in that movie.
I
If that's the
thought
part you're going to offer.
I thought Jose was his godson.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Yeah, because they show his parents standing over when he's going to be shot and stabbed at the
Okay, I must have misinterpreted that. But the thing is the same actor. I have yet to see him play anything but, somebody slimy or sleazy or scummy or whatever you want to call it. I've never seen that poor schmuck in anything that I would just quit acting if that's the only parts you're getting. Find another career. Go be a plumber or something. Just stop taking shitty ass roles.
Hey, in all fairness, he was in the 2001 sitcom called The Tick, and he played a superhero.
Yeah, Deflator Mouse. You're right.
I love that cartoon. That was one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I never saw the
Yeah,
live
I
action,
forgot
but the
about that.
cartoon.
But
I loved
yeah,
it.
yeah. But every time you mean the live action or the cartoon?
The cartoon I
action.
loved.
Well, they also
The
have
live
the
action was
one there,
pretty
too.
good with Patrick Warburton playing the Tick. It's definitely worth watching.
Okay.
Definitely worth watching. If you're a fan of the Tick, which
Yeah.
I am. Yeah.
I even enjoyed
All
the
I
new
can say to
one,
that
the Amazon
All I
one.
can say, this sums it all up. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about, and we can be friends.
I need to start drinking again.
I mean, I've seen him in a lot of actors, but I've seen him in a lot of movies. So the funny thing is I can't directly place him anywhere.
He was
I've
wasn't
seen
he
his
the
face
sheriff
live.
in that the Norman Bates series?
Yeah,
That was
he was in the
he did a
Norman
good
Bates
job in
series.
that. I watched a couple seasons of that. He was good.
I'm also going to tell you something else, and this is what people forget about. You can play the hero, but those are always the most boring characters in most instances in the movies, whereas those niche villains are so much more fun if you're going to play those.
I just, he played. Man, that's another name I'm not going to be able to pronounce. I feel like an idiot here. He was the mayor. Picazo. How do you say that, Jack?
Spell it out again.
Picazo.
P-I-C-Z.
Z as a zebra. O.
Picasso?
Picasso. Okay. Well,
That's
I was slightly
yeah.
off. Yeah, he was the mayor of that. I guess that little town. By the way, I think the scenery. The scenery in every damn shot was outrightly just gorgeous.
Yeah, it was definitely.
Yeah.
I
watch.
mean, we're talking about this, but for the, I was looking at the budget for $12 million. They did so much more for this movie, especially for the length of time that it was, for 2.5 hours, than just about all these big budget movies that they're coming out with. I mean, for $12 million, this is dirt cheap as far as movies come out from 2012. And yet,
well, that's probably part of it. But yeah, this movie totally, never came up on my radar, ever. And wow, this movie could have won all kinds of freaking awards, and I'm guessing it didn't.
Oh no, it didn't. And go look at the Metacritic rating; they have it like at 20%. It's something super low. You can tell that they did that the reviewers did not like this material.
That's not surprising whatsoever.
Yeah, it's insanely low. And I mean, what? They're just like, oh, it's this. They did not like this movie. I was shocked when I saw it. I said, wait a minute, this is a lot better film. How come it didn't come out? And I think that was part of it. But let's assume that when you tack everything on with marketing and everything else, as much as the production, you're still looking at a $25 million film. And they said that this was number one in Mexico when it came out?
Probably.
Yeah, it was the...
Yeah, 25% Rotten Tomatoes, 6.5 IMDb, and 35% TV Guide. and then 93% like this movie.
I don't pay attention to those the critic ratings.
Doesn't have to say it all.
Well,
Yeah.
what it
Well,
tells you.
actually, I pay attention to them because if critics hate it and users love it, then that means it's a very good movie. If it's roughly the same, then it can go either way. And if critics like it and users hate it, it's a very, very bad, or viewers hate it, it's a very bad movie.
Well, here's the point, though, is it just shows you on how disconnected these reviewers are from the general public. That's what it tells me. And it says 77%. I would probably, if we were to rate this, I would rate this probably like an 8.5 stars or something. So it'd be 85% for me. It's not. I think it's worth watching. I thought it was a lot better. I didn't even look up. I said, "Let me go see." And it's on Amazon. This makes my life easy. And then I started watching it, and I know I told Zach Jack last night. I said, "Hey, thanks for bringing that up. It was actually really good. I was impressed." And for the budget, again, that's what I want to bring up. $12.5 million to make a movie, and what was the average movie that they were making at this time? What, 50 or 60 million?
Yeah, 2012. The first Avatar movie came out.
Well, no. Avatar was 2009, but I'm not saying the big giant blockbusters, but I'm saying that just the average cost of making a movie is like 50 or 60 million dollars, and then those big budgets are like 150, 200 million. That's not even marketing. It's that's what. And the cinematography was good. The action scenes were good. The actors were good. There's nothing I can say was really weak in this movie. It's not like you can tell we're like, well, you can tell they didn't put any budget into this. No, everything I thought was done very, very well.
They didn't. How could they have spent more money other than advertising or more famous actors? Which, in a way, I liked it because I didn't know anybody in it, so I couldn't have any, my usual preconceived notions of hating every actor I ever meet on the screen or in person. It made it a lot easier to enjoy it. Kind of like when Star Wars first came out, we didn't know any of these guys. You know what I mean? Even as a kid, I knew
one or two. That's it. Yeah.
Right. And it just made it. I like it when they do that. That way, you don't have any preconceived notions whatsoever. You could just enjoy this movie without, going, oh yeah, without, picturing the actors as their usual stereotyped cast or characters or things like that. When you see certain famous actors, you can easily get swept up in their previous roles.
I'm going to
from.
The only place they could have put more money or budget, I think, is if they want to do even grander battle scenes, and that would have been about it. But
maybe
I don't see that it's really any weaker for what it did. Is look at the number of horses. They must have had 60 horses. Right?
You wouldn't even want bigger battle scenes for a movie like this, considering the Cristiados were using guerrilla warfare. It would be bizarre to have these massive World War I or World War II type battle scenes. That wouldn't make sense.
They only rented one machine gun. Think about it.
Yeah, because there weren't that many machine guns in the country. Obviously, there was more than one, but it makes sense that there would only be one in the whole movie because there wasn't that many used.
So going back to the original question at hand, Roman, was there a character in this movie that you did not like?
Character or
you didn't like the character because he had, or because it was written for.
Connell?
Yeah.
So I mean, to be honest, from a weak character was Eva Longoria. Didn't hate her, didn't care. That was just like eh. Anyway, which was that's the best way. I actually, if you want to talk about a villain, that's the President Calleros, or however. He did a good job, but this is what I have to look at. Just because I don't like the character doesn't mean I don't like the actor. A lot of times what it is that I don't like certain characters unless the actor's really bad because you give him a little tiny part, I don't care for it. But he did a good job. I know Shadow didn't like the mayor. The mayor didn't bother me too much because I kind of understand what's going on here. It's like, look, this is what you got to do. But at the end of the day, if you want to talk about your real villains, well, we've got the president, and let's not forget the guy that actually stabbed the kid. That guy was evil through.
Yeah, he had pedo written all over him.
Well, it wasn't just that. He also enjoyed doing the same one where he was the same one that shot the, when they were going over for when they were having dinner, and then they busted in. He also shot I forgot the guy's name, but the one with the beard. When they were.
So you got that same vibe. Is that what you're saying, Omen?
I don't really care whether I don't get the whole. My whole thing is you're a psychopath. And that was it. That was the. And but to be fair, that actor did a good job for it. So what am I supposed to say? It's like watching No Country for Old Men and then complaining about the main villain. No, you did a great job in that. Doesn't mean I like you. But
doesn't mean you're coming over for lunch.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that's. A lot of these are just minor characters. Not that I hate Andy Garcia, but I think that everyone overall did a very good job, and I enjoyed that. I think that helped. This is criminally underrated, is the best way to put it, is whether you look at this, no one's mentioning, hey, you should be watching this film. Apparently it did, which I find funny because the American critics, which are about as agnostic, atheists as you can get.
Yeah, let's get a bunch of agnostic, atheistic Americans to review a movie about religious issues in Mexico, and then they say it's a bad movie, and no one's surprised.
Well, no, my point is I would like to see because apparently it got like a lot of awards from the I want to call it the Latin American, South America, the basically south of the border. It did pretty well apparently, and I thought that was. And that just tells you how out of touch a lot of our people. But I can't knock the film for anything. But yes, as far as characters, you have that. As far as actress, I hate saying it, is Eva Longoria added nothing. If they had removed her part, I really wouldn't have noticed too much. Eddie Garcia could have just referenced things. You would have never seen her, and I would have not felt that the movie lost anything.
This movie got the ALMA awards in 2012. No, at the ALMA awards in 2012, this movie got nominated. Favorite actor, favorite film actor was Andy Garcia. Favorite movie actress, Eva, the lady just talked or saying. Favorite movie actor, supporting role, Oscar Isaac. Supporting role, another one was Ruben Blades. I mean, people have to understand, and I'm not saying this to the group of this panel, but even to really the chat, but there are more award shows out there than just the ones that we have, the Golden Gloves, the Oscars. I mean,
yeah.
Well, and let's be honest, they used to mean something for good movies.
Now they don't.
Now it's just like, nope. Why would I even care? That just tells you how disconnected they are from the populace.
If you look up the list of like movies that have won the Oscars or whatever for the last 10 years, I would bet money that no one in this panel has seen more than 3 of them.
I watch a lot of movies. That would not be a safe bet with me.
Okay, excluding you.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I've got to look. I mean, I can make a list and put on Discord just out of curiosity and see who signs off on what movies. It might say on another one of these shows. But other than that, yeah, that's
the point is, who cares about movies getting awards nowadays? It means nothing. It used to, but not anymore, because usually they're all like leftist political movies that nobody actually cares about, because the entire point, like, yeah, this is obviously a political movie we're reviewing. There's no doubt about that. But
good save.
I'm going to bring something up. Is I used to look at it for movies that are kind of niche, and that are really good, but it's just become a lot of self-indulgence that I'm like, I don't really care. I don't care about the subject material. A lot of other stuff is, it's like, oh, okay. And that's the problem that I have with a lot of it is, all right, what's I go to the movies to be entertained or to enjoy it, and a lot of these movies just aren't, or they're dragging, or
Yeah, like
yeah.
because this is a political movie. If you grab like your average guy and they watch this movie, no matter unless they're like a super racist or super anti-religious, like Bolshevik levels of hating religion, they will probably like the movie. If you grab, what was that one movie that they made where like a black guy and a black lady kill a cop and then they run for their lives because they committed a crime and it got a bunch of awards? I forgot what it was called. It was written like in the height of the BLM stuff. Again, nobody know it got. I think it won the Oscars. Nobody cares about it.
It's interesting.
It was.
I noticed
It was super like race politics. Like, oh, screw the police. We gotta defund them. All this stuff. BLM, whatever. And then not only does nobody care about it, but if you grab like your average guy, moderate politically, and they watch this movie, they would hate it because it's saying it's glorifying criminals, and they're not even fighting. They committed a crime, and then when the police was just doing his job, they killed him for no reason, for no reasonable reason.
I'm
And then
something up if we're going to talk
glorified
about
for the whole movie.
go watch In the Heat of the Night, and during the political. That is a fantastic movie.
We're going to be doing.
Yep.
We'll all have to find a category to fit that movie in.
There's nothing wrong with politics being in movies or being in stories. It's just you can tell that when politics takes center stage, or worse yet, when the politics that is being pushed is actively evil and bad, then we have a problem.
Well, the problem I have with a lot of them is they're there's a lot of them. Yeah, thanks, Lady. Anyway, that's hilarious.
Yeah, that movie.
But the whole point that I think Jack is bringing up is it's not that these are great movies. These movies are getting awards because of the topic rather than if they're a great movie, and I think that's the issue.
Well, I mean, yeah, and yes, yeah, I get where you're going with that. I'm just gonna move on to the next one because
Yeah,
that was just a weak question. I admit to that one.
at least you have more than 3 questions, unlike somebody down there.
Stop.
So,
Hey, I had a busy ass freaking day yesterday.
You had more than a day to
Hey,
plan.
it always like one of my questions.
this movie was highly charged Catholic, being about the Catholic Church. Now, I think it's interesting. I've seen the variation of movies like this, variations of this one about the Jewish religion and the Muslim religion. Do you think that movies, the Muslim and the Jewish in these movies, should be, I don't know, not forced watched, but definitely be on a list of movies that should be watched, even if it's outside of your religion, as in Muslim or Jewish, or it should be more of just pick your fancy. This is a movie we're watching, Friday night type stuff. Should there be more of a, not demand, but more of a not education? That's the wrong way to put it.
I'm going to say as much as, and I hate saying this, if we're going to talk about this, there's a lot of history that comes down to suppression of religion. It doesn't matter whether it's the Soviets, the Chinese, or anyone else. But I think that the important thing, and this is which always amazes me, is we're more interested in what's going on in Europe than what's going on in Mexico or Canada for some of these histories for things. And that's what always surprises me, is the fact that regardless of where you're from, Mexico is 6 to 7 hours away from me, just because Texas is huge, to be fair. But Europe, I literally have to get onto a plane to fly over there, and it's a real effort. There's a lot of things that when you want to talk, and you can see it through the 20th century. It doesn't matter what religion it is; it's an attack on religion. It doesn't matter whether it's the Chinese going after the Uyghur Muslims. It doesn't matter if it's the Soviets going after the Orthodox Church in many cases, and the fight back, what is it, in 1492. Well, it's in the 1490s, with Spain, they kicked out everyone that wasn't Catholic. But it's not just that. We also have, there's a lot of different religious aspects where they went through and burned people. Hell, that's what the French did. There's a lot of that aspect. Look at during the French Revolution. There's been a systematic effort to make.
I mean, pretty much everything bad ever, you can say. Look at the French Revolution. There's an example of it there.
But I think that from our standpoint, is Mexico is a neighbor, and we just completely ignore their history.
Yeah,
that's where I think the big issue is.
If I was that guy on the train, the ambassador for the United States for Mexico, and I'm on a train, and I see dead bodies hung up from the power, one every
the telegraph line.
Yep.
Like one every 20 feet from each other.
Yeah, I would just go up back to President. I think it was Coolidge. The actor looked a lot like Herbert Hoover, but I'm pretty sure it was Coolidge during this period. I would be like, "Hey, Coolidge, we gotta stop supporting these guys. I think they're I think they're under the influence. I think they're on drugs, maybe LSD. We gotta stop this."
That'd be a neat trick.
It's but you can see it right now. I want to get somewhat political. Look what's going on with the Orthodox Church and what's going on in Ukraine and how they're trying to stomp that out. I mean,
I'd rather just focus on the United States and its anti-Christian sentiment, to be honest.
Well, right, but I'm saying, but all of these are related. The same people are all involved with everything about this. Is the point?
And it was Coolidge. You're right, Jack. It was Coolidge.
It doesn't look like Coolidge.
Well, yeah, Coolidge was really thin. This guy looked more like Hoover. But the other point I think comes down to this, and I hate saying it, is it does highlight the fact that the United States gets involved in a lot of its neighbors in its pure political interest, whether it's from the 1950s with the bananas in Guatemala and Dole Foods. But I think that it's interesting, just the whole thing of the fact that when you really look at it, is there was somewhat of a victory by the, look at the Poles and what they did in Warsaw and during the 1980s. That you want to talk about political, John Paul II. That was a huge seismic shift, and what was going on there, going after priests. It's not unique for this, but I think that it's interesting that in this case, the papacy actually, the Catholics did come out ahead instead of being completely squelched for all of it. I know nothing was perfect, but they did push back and they did get reforms in a lot of areas, the draconian laws.
Yeah, that's who the other guy was. Secretary of State Frank B. Kellogg. That guy was a real piece of work too. Anyway. I guess the question I was trying to ask was, for the movie, and do you think there's just really no way to put it. Were they respectful enough to the Catholic thought processing in this movie that you think should be, if they're going to do a movie like this, would be, man, this is just a dud of a question because I can't get it out.
Are you saying that they did justice to the Catholics and didn't portray them in a bad light?
Yeah, let's go with that because I just can't get my head around this question. Because I think out of all of us, me and Jack are really, I don't know about the rest of you, but I think me and Jack are the only Catholics here.
I grew up Catholic.
You grew up Catholic? Oh, Mark, you're Catholic? Okay.
So Shadow being the odd man out.
Okay, let's go.
I was actually born Roman Catholic, but
okay.
Well, yeah, that changed.
That's fine.
What?
Yeah, but you're a Baptist now, which is gay.
No, it's hellfire and brimstone. Get it straight.
Amen, brother.
He just liked the Solomon Kane look. That was the whole reason he went for that.
I didn't know who Solomon Kane was. To be brutally honest, I didn't know who Solomon Kane was back then. Not even a clue.
I think movies like these are important. I think if they made it, and they have done several movies, but I think if we were to watch a movie like this, sometime down the road, that we might want to watch a movie, and not the Mel Brooks version of the oh god, the What Happened in Spain. I think that'd be worth watching with this group. I think
Reformation.
What?
The Spanish Reformation.
Yeah, I think
Wait, are you talking about the Inquisition or the Civil War?
The
Like what time period is this?
War, man, I can't talk today. Not the Civil War, but when
The
they were,
Inquisition, yeah.
I
It's not
think
Reconquista.
so.
Not the same thing, but kind of similar.
Trying to save my own ass because I really can't talk. St. Patrick tore me up.
Of course he did.
Well,
You know, I have to admit this because the Discord where Mark sent his stuff up for the Irish stuff, and then I had to put it in the Family Guy for the Irish history. I hope that Cuddle saw it.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So, all right. So
On St. Patrick's Day, I should have joined Max's stream and just put up my massive British flag behind me.
What?
no,
What?
you know what, Jack? You know what? I love you to death, but time out.
This is my pick. You can't do that.
Oh, watch me.
Okay. No.
So, anyways, I'll bring the kid back. I feel bad for about that long.
Not that long.
Shadow, why don't you pull out your list? Why don't you pull out your list there, Shadow? And we'll play Did Shadow Get It Right game. This might be a new
I'm
edition.
guessing I missed on one. Connell, my guess for you would be 14.
Which one was 14? Well, hold on. Before you answer the question, I want everybody to say who their favorite was. So you already have them written down, so you can't go back.
Well, I got lots of paper. You'd never know, but yeah.
Right.
I can check.
I have a modicum of integrity.
Okay. So, who's your favorite? I guess we could go with that. We'll go around.
Right. Actually, I'll start with you. Oma, now. Who's your favorite?
I like the what was it? The priest Vega, the one that was acting as the general who burned the train. He was my favorite character. The one that got shot in the head at the end. He was my favorite character.
Yeah, I was wondering about that shot in the head. That should have just ended it.
No.
Yeah,
If you look at it, it said in the
In
back.
real life, he got shot in the head and survived for a couple hours.
And then he was able to do last rites before he passed away.
Yeah.
I mean,
Really?
Yeah, you should have watched the credits.
All right. So we got Father Vega. Shadow, who was your favorite character?
Little Jose.
Well, Jose makes sense. Jack.
Gorostieta.
Which was the general?
Yeah, the main general.
Yeah.
All right. Mark, who was yours?
Yeah.
I think I said my pick already, but it was either the Oscar Isaac's character, who was just the ranch soldier guy, or I like the he wasn't in it for long, but I like the ambassador for the U.S.
Okay,
Shadow just froze. Wait a minute.
Yeah,
Everybody freeze except you and me, Mark.
No.
It's Jack. Their internet because Jack's froze too. Must be.
Well, we'll have to go back over there. He'll have to post it somehow. Connell,
Yeah.
who was your favorite while we're waiting?
My favorite was the cigar. The one the general. No, I like the general. I really like the general. Because other than making his wife and daughters happy and believing in freedom, he had no skin in the game. He wasn't Catholic. This was actually more towards his favor than it was against him in any way, because his wife said he was an atheist, which I think he might have been more anti-theist.
Agnostic.
Yeah, agnostic than he was. Yep. But whatever. But he was my favorite character because he did what was right. He knew what he had to do, and yeah, he was getting paid. He made it where his family was going to be comfortable, but he knew what was right, and he did it. And I respect. How should I put this? I can respect the reluctant hero more than I'm the guy who just. Oh, I'll do it.
I'll be honest. I didn't like the guy who was doing 14. Was the kind of thing of like, I'm just going to do whatever I want. Like, yeah, you're trying to fight for a cause here. You can't just. I mean, I like the idea of the whole thing, but
which one was 14? Was that
that was the guy that remember when he was the one that controlled like a lot of the ranchers.
Oscar Isaac. Yeah, I could see why, because I think that was Shadow's pick for me was Isaac. Yeah. He was a good guy. He was a good character, but he gets, in my experiences, it's people like that starts more problem than they're normally worth.
Are you saying that he was the Deion Sanders? No, it wasn't. Was it Deion Sanders? Which was the one that was the everyone? He was a great football player, but they all said he was kind of toxic on the teams.
I don't think he was toxic. I think he was just full of himself for a long period. Then I think the kid kind of changed him out. But
he was always up there. Like, I don't do anything in general, and I don't care. It's kind of like, hey, you have to think about the larger picture. But okay, we've got Jack back.
One of us is here.
What happened?
The other one fell through the floor.
What?
Shadow fell through the floor.
Not right. Hey, it's Hunger.
Oh, he's here?
Hey, Hunger.
So we all said who our favorites was, and of course, Shadow got them all wrong because he's not here.
Yep.
No, I would have liked to see what Shadow has for everybody.
Oh, yeah, I will continue back to this when he shows up. But man, this movie was rough and it was good. I find myself getting into arguments not all the time, but religion is always a conversation I always seem to find myself in. And because I'm Catholic, everybody thinks I'm going to lean in one direction over the others. And I've read the Jewish the Bible. I read the Muslim Bible, and I think they're both absolutely gorgeous. But how dare I? Because I just run into that.
There's love. Okay, Shadow. Let's hear you pick for all of us.
For Connell, I picked L14. For you, I actually figured you would have liked Andy Garcia's character. Being the hardcore gamer that you are, I figured that was an easy pick. For Mark, I actually thought he would have been more partial to the priest, and obviously Jackie, that was a no-brainer because he told us.
So you got three of us wrong. That was
weird.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard, but my favorite was Andy Garcia's the general's character, mainly because he smokes cigars, and anybody who smokes cigars has got my vote.
Yeah, I thought that might have swayed you, but I'm like, nah, he's got to be a little deeper than that. But
no, I actually, I said this while you two were gone, but he was the only person in this movie, the person was that really didn't have that much skin in the game. The movie portrayed him as a non-believer. He did this for the happiness of his daughter and his daughters and his wife, and the aspect of religious freedom. Other than that, this was more to the one less religion in my country. Hey, that's fine with me. Kind of whatever. So him actually.
Well, Mexico didn't really have that much religious diversity. It was.
Yeah, I didn't get that. I thought he was. More of while I his opinion was, while I may not believe, I'll be damned if I'm going to let people say nobody can believe it all.
Yeah.
I
mean-
he made the hard decision and he joined, and I can respect that. 14, I get it, or that can't be the way you pronounce his name.
14?
Yeah, I can't pronounce that though either. Remez? RAM, whatever. That guy, the rancher, he annoyed me. He actually annoyed me more than anything else.
Oh, really? Because I figured, I don't know. He was like the closest to the Archer I could pick.
No, and I get that. There's no way I would have left that kid. If the kid offered me his horse, I would have walked up to that horse, smacked the horse's ass, making it run off, leaving me to deal with what's ever about ready to come. There was no way in God's green earth I was going to take a kid's horse. And
yeah, I forgot about that too.
There's just aspects. I mean, I like him. I thought he was an interesting character. I thought he had a good death, all things considered. He saw something that Father Ovega did not see, which was the minigun or the whatever.
Well, you gotta admit, Connell, you usually do pick the bad boys.
Well, no. Have you noticed that not only this, but for Casablanca, he hates the characters that he resembles the most.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
You look at the wrong angle.
I'm just saying, Casablanca was rigged.
Casablanca with the person that's kind of, well, actually Andy Garcia wasn't too much, but yeah, it's the but no,
the whole movie was awesome. God, we're only an hour into this.
It is criminally underrated based on the Rotten Tomatoes review scores. That's what gets me about it. Instead of seeing
I want to read some of those reviews actually. How they justify calling this movie 2% or 20%.
All it says whether they like it or not, but that's what it gets.
Oh, really?
It says 1 in 5 actually like this movie, and I went, that's from all the movies I've seen. This was well done. I mean, it had action, it had drama, it had characters you kind of cared about. So yeah, I think it was. I think if you want to do a movie, this has everything you want for it. And this, you know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of the movies that we used to see in the 1950s and 60s for the United States.
The old westerns.
Well, it's not just westerns, but anything that has kind of romanticized about the past period pieces. It was much more of a, even if the good guys lose, there was still things that changed. They were somewhat admirable. It felt much more like an older throwback to movies than the torture dystopian style that they started making in the 70s and later.
Yeah, you know what? I got to say, this is one of the best movies we've watched on this show, to be honest.
I think your opinion is biased there, sir.
I'd rather watch this one than most of them, other than John Carter, to be honest.
What? Casablanca doesn't count? No.
Dude, if I never see it again, I won't miss it. I've only seen it like 5 times in my life, and most of those times were like 40 years ago, and watching it now as a fully grown adult, it was like, okay, cool, now I understand, and have a better understanding of it. But it's just, I'm more of a blockbuster guy. If I'm gonna spend my actual valuable time, it better be a damn good movie, and have literally everything. And Casablanca didn't really have a whole lot of action. It was kind of slow.
And nothing got shot. What more do you want?
See, I like a good drama where I like the tension that builds up between characters. So that's part of the reason I like that. Don't get me wrong, I like blockbusters too, but most of them, if you don't have a good story, I'm just like,
Right.
That's
I mean, if I want to watch a movie without a good story, I'll put in a Bruce Willis movie.
Oh, hey, Fifth Element was pretty good. That's all the requirements that we have.
Hey, I just got 2 words for you, Connell. Moonlighting.
Oh, I was expecting yippee-ki-yay.
No. Moonlighting was freaking.
Moonlighting was also a TV show, not a movie.
I know.
It was. Everyone loved it at the time, but in retrospect, I'm like, I can't go back and watch it.
Actually, if I was going to pick a Bruce Willis movie, it probably would be Hudson Hawk. To be fair,
Good choice. So many people I know absolutely freaking despise that movie, but it was just such a goofy, perfect Bruce Willis movie to highlight all of his talents. Because that's what he was actually a singer before he was an actor.
Well, there was The Last Boy Scout. I mean, he's picked some good stuff.
That's also a good one.
That's a damn good movie. That is a damn good movie.
Speaking of future movies, we have.
Hey, Hungar, what's happening, bro? Hey,
Stop breaking toes.
Yeah.
Now you got to go to the freaking hospital.
He's been in the hospital since Friday.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Sorry to hear that, man. Broke your record.
So,
for something
Mark,
weird.
You've been with us more or less since the very beginning. I mean, we're doing the Dresden reviews, we're doing book reviews, and we kind of just switch over to movies just because it's easier time-wise to deal with.
Summertime's coming, guys. We'll have more time and no excuses. Well, Jackie will have an excuse because his best friend will be living with us. But
true.
So on the where was I going with that? I swear I got hit one too many times in the head over the last.
Mark, you're talking about Mark.
I was going to say to Mark, you've been with us since more or less the very beginning, and since the Shadow brought it up, I'm kind of curious. Other than the movies you picked, because I think it's kind of biased if we pick our own movies. Was there? What do you think of the movies that we've picked overall?
They've been good. They've been solid for the most part.
Except for Jack's.
Pretty much.
Hey guys, this one freaking.
What I'm interested in about those dollar store movies is like I'm interested in like how do those get made and like how does the studio work for making those, and I mean does like the dollar store, is the studio owned by the dollar store? I mean, that's what I'm curious about, those kind of movies.
All right, Jack, your next assignment, should you choose to accept it, is to do a deep dive into how these movies get made.
Like these dollar store type movies, like how do they know they got to know they're bad when they're making them, and I don't know.
Wait, hold up.
What if they honestly don't, and they think they're the next Blair Witch Project?
Hungar, I think cultural appropriation is a stupid, gay, and retarded concept perpetuated by the woke, liberal, left.
Anyways, back to talking about movies.
YouTube is not happy with Jack today, are they?
Well, that might be Connell. I don't know.
That was me.
Oh, okay.
Are we good?
That was Big Brother. You weren't talking the right type of Orwellian speed.
Mark, get it right. It's Big Sister.
Okay.
But yeah, you should do a deep dive on how these bad movies are being made and sent to Dollar General. Although I've noticed when it comes to movies, if the movie does very well, back in the era when we actually had video stores, like Blockbuster, Hollywood, Family Video. Family Video was more of a Midwestern place, I think. Because I've only seen them like in Indiana, Illinois, Missouri, in the surrounding states. I never really saw them elsewhere.
Hey, Hungar, real quick, Hungar. You have to understand he gets his fashion sense from his old man. Okay, I'm taking all credit for that.
Don't.
You're
gonna miss me when I'm gone, sport.
Jack is really the only person that can pull off that look because I can't. I don't know. I've been asked. I've been accused of. I haven't been. How should I put this? I've been asked if I was of Mexican descent a few dozen times.
Well, let's be honest. Jack embraces it. That makes all the difference.
Yeah.
Hey, crafting, what's happening, buddy?
Hey, I embrace any culture that makes cigars. Anyways, no, I was saying about when it comes to movies, if there's like a major blockbuster movie that comes out, I see like the dollar store version of it being made. Then there's the other version that, well, somebody in this room would be highly offended and too young to watch version of the film.
Yeah.
But it's like there's the original film, then there's the two variations of the copy of the film being made. And I always thought that was funny.
Wow.
Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
I'm not telling you. I'm not telling you you're wrong because that would be.
I won't tell you you're
blatant.
wrong, but I will tell you that I wouldn't be upset if a nuclear bomb hit your city.
Neither would I.
Do you think they actually did one for Schindler's List?
I hope not.
I hope not too, but
What do you mean for Schindler's List?
I don't want to think about.
Well, I mean, if you listen to all the development hell for a lot of things, and some are good, some are bad. I mean, they do these test runs on it as well, but some of them you just have to look at like, why was it ever greenlit in the first place? It's you just look at it's bad. Well, to be fair, all we have to do is look at everything that Kathleen Kennedy produced post what was his name? Steven Spielberg and George Lucas, and we can find out what goes on there. Everything that she's greenlit and somehow tried putting her finger in has just been horrible.
Phrasing.
And Mark?
Yeah.
Yeah, there is.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, I guess the world needs to burn then, because
Yeah, it's like there's like some internet rule, like Rule 30, something like that. If you think about that type of movie has been made about it. Yeah. Anyways, back onto like
we need
more
another
family-friendly
flood.
topic.
I've been advocating for this all year and all of last year, but we seriously need another flood. If Putin just sent the nuke towards Washington, D.C. right now, I would not be upset.
I'm going to say this much, and here's the sad thing. I hate saying it. I'm not sure that if he only went after Washington, D.C. and limited to that area, that the country would really care. Actually, you know what? If we got a good old Sodom and Gomorrah and this bolt of light came down and turned everyone around there by salt, I mean, I've known some good people. That sounds horrible, but I don't think there'd be a giant loss as far as the country. I'm not sure most people would even notice.
Yeah.
That sounds terrible, but that's the way I'm kind of feeling. It's like, all right, yeah. Why can't you just hit the CNN studios?
Why
I would
nobody
all
watches
appreciate
that?
that.
Anyone that's in the that's trapped in the airport.
Okay, that's fair. That's very fair.
See, I'd still say no because the effect on the environment's not worth the juice.
Well, you know what? That we have a history of some nuclear weapons being detonated. We probably wouldn't even notice. Oh, speaking of which, I'm gonna bring this up. It's just a little bit of fun. Anyone ever see Blast from the Past with
Brendan Fraser, Christopher Walken,
Lisa Silverstone? Yep.
Yeah. No, I've seen it. I've seen it half dozen times.
I enjoyed that one, especially when Christopher Walken comes out and he sees everyone dressed there, with the mohawks. Like, the society's completely gone out. We can't go over.
So I believe. I don't know. Who's next? I'm getting confused. I think I got confused. I know it was me, then Jack, then was it you, Omen?
Let's see. I think I was after Jack.
Right. And we're doing Ben Hur, which is a historical. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Then Actually, the one that got my interest is yours, Mark, because I don't know anything about it.
El Cid.
El Cid. Don't break anything there, Jack.
I've been thinking about it, and I haven't seen it for years since I was a kid. I just remember it was pretty grand and epic, one of those historical movies, and it was, one of those I think that movie came out in the 50s even. But yeah, it just had a big grand scope and storyline. The Emperor, he's just kind of a Spanish guy trying to fight off the Moors in Spain, I believe. So yeah.
I think yours will be the last movie we watch that doesn't have good old Charles Hudson in it, because the next
Heston.
yeah, because I know the next few does it.
So we got 3
Don't worry.
Charles Heston movies in a row.
Yeah, yeah, we do.
Wow, man, that's freaking epic. Growing up, he was literally my favorite actor for such a long period of time that I don't even know
Who was in this movie?
if I could put anybody else above him, to be honest.
He's in Charleston Heston is in Ben-Hur, 10 Commandments, and El Cid. He's
Okay.
pretty much the lead in all of those.
And then 1970s, he did all of the sci-fi films.
All the post-apocalyptic and
Soylent Green,
and
Omega Man,
dystopian type movie. Yeah.
Planet of the Apes.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
he got to be in some of the absolute best movies.
Yeah.
No, we don't need to see. You only need to do one Death Wish if you're going to do any of them.
If we're going to do it, it's going to be the Bruce Willis version.
No, actually, I like watching a lot of the older original stuff because they tend to be they're less Hollywood. Oddly enough,
Yeah.
It's funny, but it's yeah.
I mean, I know this month was supposed to be more historian, but technically, I could have done Escape from L.A. with Snake Plissken in it.
Please don't.
No. That's
if you're gonna do it, you got to do just Escape from New York and just move on.
I watched
Escape from LA was just absolute dog water.
I watched Escape from LA and I was like, oh, I forgot how bad this was.
So, Jack, I do want to say thank you for picking out this film. This movie was a complete and utter pleasure, right along with the book. Star Wars, I still have minor heartburn from, but it's a Star Wars movie. That one wasn't, yeah. Anyway,
there were only 3 Star Wars movies.
No, there's 4.
No, I don't recognize any others. There are only 3.
There's 4. There's also the Christmas special.
That wasn't a movie. That was a TV show.
And Omen, I only go as far as there are 2.5. The first half of Return of the Jedi was awesome, but the last half, yeah, I'm still scarred from childhood from that one.
Well, I just heard they originally were supposed to do Wookiees, and they just failed.
They were, yeah.
So, are you going to here's a question for you, Jack. Now, this is a really good movie, and I've said that multiple times. When you have are you planning on watching this movie again?
Probably, maybe tomorrow.
So maybe tomorrow.
My mom really wanted to watch this movie, and as the credits were rolling, she was like, "All right, so you guys are gonna watch the movie?" Like, yes, we did.
Now you're gonna have your friend come stay with you over the summer, or going to torture. I mean, make him watch this movie with you.
I don't know, maybe, probably not.
He's got the same sort of background as himself.
Almost identical.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that this topic was talked about 4 gringos, with 4 gringos talking about this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm part Hispanic. Screw you.
3.
Okay, 3 gringos.
Well, actually, I mean, technically it's Portuguese, so I'm not sure where that counts. But
Jack, does that count?
It counts as Hispanic,
I know it does,
but does it count as?
Does
Well,
it count as
actually-
Latinx? That's a real
Compromise.
question.
Oh, fucking.
well, you know what's great is that they're mad that even the Hispanics don't want to use Latinx. They're like they're all getting mad. Well, they're not accepting it. Like, yeah, because all
Physically holding my
You
mouth
never
shut.
consulted with
Oh,
them.
yeah.
You never
There was a,
consulted with them. Geez, I wonder.
there was a TV series that had Gabriel.
Iglesias, or is it different?
The guy says, I'm not fat, I'm fluffy.
Yeah.
And they were actually talking about Latinx. He's like, no.
God damn it, Latinx was just a stupid concept invented by the white liberals just to pervert everything about culture so that they can just invade everything with their homosexual ideations. Oh, I'm not a man, I'm not a woman, I am neither. I call Latinx, please. You call somebody Latino? Oh, that's actually sexist because you're assuming that they're all men. It's ridiculous.
You know what? Well, the whole thing
Tell
is
us how you
kind of-
really feel, Sport.
Yeah, no joke. Don't hold back, Jack.
I just here you forgot the one part. It's being pushed by Ivy League white liberals. Not that
Oh yeah, elite.
fall off. Yeah,
I just didn't know he was praying to Saint Kai of the Wrathful there for a second. That was unique.
Trust me, it really isn't. I live with the guy.
That sounds like a you problem, not an us problem. But anyways,
It's an absolute pleasure.
as I was saying, the TV show that the Gabriel was on, he was like talking about the history of what they were called, because he's like in the very beginning, there if you for filling out a loan or getting home, there was white and white or African. There was nothing else, so we just checked white. So then we got home loans and all these great things. Now they broke it down into all these different sections, and it just had a huge thing on it. It was fucking hilarious.
Well, and see, what I always love is I've talked to several people that are from Mexico, and you find out, yeah, your family is mostly from Spain. That's what gets me about the whole thing is everyone acts
Hey,
like
don't forget France. Don't forget France.
Well,
Jackie, might be upset if you forgot France.
are we talking
God
about
damn
the
you.
boss? The boss. See, my friend was in Spain, and but no, I'm talking like, they go over, and I'm just like, that's the whole thing. I like stop trying to break everyone up. It's just like whenever they talk about Hispanic, I say, oh, you mean Giselle Bundchen? Like, I don't know, the fact that she's as German as can be.
Even in Spain, you're either Spanish or Castilian, or not Castilian, Casa.
Well, Castilian Basque. There's several different regions out there.
Yeah,
lived there for a while.
See, the Irish are just the Irish, unless you're in North Ireland, then you're British.
I thought that she had the two separations. I thought that it was purely based on religion. Either you were Catholic or you were Protestant. No.
Well, there was a couple other factors.
I wish I can't wait for Lent to be over.
What do you mean you're drinking? You're not supposed to be doing that anyway.
It's St. Patrick's Day. St. Patrick's Day was the one day of Lent that Pope.
Have you ever
dispensation?
Dispensation.
Have you ever noticed that the same thing applies to Greek Independence Day? Did you notice they always make their Independence Day during Lent so they can get around the drinking aspect? All these countries that are
well, the Pope gave the Irish, as he said, because of St. Patrick and the work that St. Patrick did in Ireland, which we'll leave alone. Yeah.
We all know your feelings about St. Patrick for some bizarre reason. We know.
Well, he just likes snakes. That's all.
He was a snake. Anyways. So, all right. So, what movie do we have next? I think it's Ben-Hur. Ben.
And we're talking 1950s version, not the atrocious new one.
So, for those who are out there in chat thinking, "Hey, I want to watch this movie," you can find it on HBO Max or the Dollar Store because it is coming on Easter.
It is a long movie, so bring your popcorn and everything else.
Yeah. The other one I'm having issues trying to find. I mean, I might have to rent it on Vudu. Was Ten Commandments.
You know what though, and this is what I found. It's only like if I'm going to pay $5, I'll pay an extra $5 to get the DVDs. It's just do that or the Blu-rays. I think that I'm not sure what they're coming out. The problem is they keep coming out with all these new remastered stuff. I'm like, stop it! Just give me one. I only need one.
My question is, does Jack know what a VHS is?
Of course I do.
Okay, just curious.
I mean, I guess, yeah, it's reasonable to assume I wouldn't, but
My daughter offered to pay for gas, and she went out there. It's like, Dad, I'll pump and pay. And I'm like, cool. I'm not going to complain. I'm expecting her to maybe $5, and she comes knocking on the window. Dad, the machine's not taking my money. What do you mean it's not taking your money? There's nowhere for me to slide the money into.
I had a problem with that with the stripper too, with the credit card. I didn't know what I was supposed to slide.
caught myself there.
Nice, Owen.
I caught myself there.
Yeah, that or they don't appreciate it when you start throwing quarters up on stage. Yeah.
Ironically enough, I got corned beef and cabbage on St. Patrick's Day. I really didn't want to, but my buddies, it's like, hey, let's do. We get together, and we're like, where are we going? And I'm like, I named 4 different Irish pubs here in Peoria. No, it's noontime, and everybody, all the St. Patrick's Day, all the bars were just hammered. They were just full. The one place that did not have a line of cars coming out of it was the local gentleman's club. And ironically enough, they really do have a good corned beef and cabbage.
I'm gonna ask you a question here. How did your shepherd's pie?
The lamb stew.
Yep.
The lamb. It came out really well, actually. The beef broth is what sealed the deal.
Okay.
Yeah. So, did Shadow and Jack? Did you have any St. Patrick's Day shenanigans, or were you good people and stayed inside and hide from the sun?
There was no sun. It was raining.
So, what do you?
Yeah, and to be honest, you really can't buy corned beef unless you buy enough for like a lot of people, and it would have just been a waste. Even if he liked it, it would have been enough for us for like 4 dinners, and after 1 or 2 of anything, my food sometimes ends up just going to waste in the refrigerator. Unless it's baby back ribs, my family just rarely likes leftovers. Except I have to add in spaghetti and meatballs and lasagna. That's about the only thing that makes it to round 2 or 3.
Gotcha.
Oh, yeah, that makes it. I was say we don't mind leftovers.
What the hell? Why does it take so long for them to deliver?
But yeah, we probably wouldn't do anything St. Patrick's Day related at all. I mean, only one of us in this house. No, only 2 of us in this house actually identify as Irish, and one of them's the dog.
No, I hate to break it to you there, Jack.
He's Irish. Damn well he's Irish.
Yeah, Jack, I hate to tell you this, but you're Irish by default.
By default?
Yeah.
What do you mean by association?
No, by default.
No, it's how that works. Don't deny your heritage, because then you're denying, like multiple parts of your heritage. The French aspect, the Irish aspect, the Russian aspect.
Listen, there is no French, all right?
Hey, I thought we were trying to get it where he would survive to the age of 18. Don't hurry him down that that road there, Shadow, by telling him he's got French in him.
Oh.
I'll say this much, though, is, on Friday, I went out and watched my son with his little student films that they did on these camps for the last 2 years. That was kind of fun.
That's cool.
And then his mother was almost crying because she's like, he's growing up into a little man. He's going to be leaving me soon. Good for you, boy.
What about you, Mark? What did you do on St. Patty's Day?
I cooked a bunch of stuff, and then I went to the Twilight Parade in Crown Point.
I went to a
Well,
couple.
yeah,
of
that's
friends.
the key, Justin. At one time, that's the key.
Well, it was funny because one of the parades that we had in here was the Irish Pride Parade. I'm like, I wonder how many people are going to turn out to that one. And
Hey, Grandma, how you doing? What's up, Justin?
I'm actually I'm lucked out in my area because we have Irish Heritage Day, which is in August, which is a weekend thing where I can get my Guinness on. And Friday, I got my Guinness on. Well, Guinness and I buy these in threes.
Oh, from Costco?
No, from a local liquor store, and this is the last one I have. So, yeah. Anyways, I plan on living forever by pickling my liver.
That's all right. You're just going over for the whole thing. If you're just waiting for the the Battlefield Earth aliens or whatever when they come down to say, oh look, we don't even have to do anything for his liver here. We can just use his pate as is.
Wow.
Well, I don't know, Jack. I could see you somewhere with some green, little derby hat.
I almost bought one of those, but then I had realized that I have some respect for myself, so I didn't get one.
Well, you have to realize, if you're going to do that for that hat, you have to give him a sock, okay? So it can be.
There were a bunch of reasons I didn't get the hat, but that was only one of them.
I think that you just missed the entire joke there, Jack. Dobby the elf from.
Yeah, I messed at it. Your hat collection. Oh, speaking of stuff, I heard did you get an award at the award show that you had this past Thursday?
Yes.
Was it for being the most obtrusive?
No, it was honorable.
Oh, close enough.
Yes.
Congratulations. It's always good to show up at school.
Sometimes.
So, 32 minutes left. Anybody want to say anything? I really should turn my phone off.
Good idea.
Anything else anybody wants to talk about the movie? Because it feels like we more or less got the movie wrapped up within the first hour. There was no real big complaining about the movie. Everybody loved it. The actors, except for like one or two actors, the cast was great. I mean, even with those 2 or 3 actors, the cast was still great. I think the real life version, the guy who stabbed the kid, should be rotting somewhere, but that's just my opinion.
Oh, he is.
I'm pretty sure he died a long time ago.
Yeah, I know he's dead. I just want him to be rotting somewhere
Oh, I'm sure that there's several entities with pitchforks.
Or pineapples.
Nether regions.
Or
What do you think of pineapples?
Pineapples.
Oh.
Yeah, it was a good pick. I liked it. It was a good movie. I don't know a whole lot about the history in Mexico in this area at this time, and it was a good pick for that. I enjoyed the movie. It was good.
I will definitely. I think this. I like with certain holidays. I liked watching certain movies, like St. Patty's Day. I have a series of Irish movies I like Boondock Saints or Derby McGill, the old Disney one. That's Sean Connery in it in the Leprechaun. I can't think. I don't know. Can't think of the movie, but it was really good. This one might be pushed to the. I don't know when to watch this. February 10th. I know the festival for St. Jose is February 10th. So this might be my February 10th movie. Yeah. So, everybody happy with the film?
Yes.
I have no complaints, but this was a good call by Jack.
I really appreciate this one.
I mean, I don't know how this movie didn't get, just massive, accolades from.
Well, because it couldn't. It's a movie not celebrating. Well, yeah, celebrating, religion, faith, moral principles, and anti-secularism, and they couldn't allow that.
Well, it was what rated R, so that did a little bit, but it did. But what gets me about it was
this movie
Yeah,
rated
regular
R?
movies get awards at the time.
now. To be fair, this came out in 2012, so I was probably in Afghanistan or doing stuff like that at the time. So it fell into the radar. It did really well in Mexico. They said it opened #1 there. Did pretty well for that. So I gotta give it credit. I don't know if it actually made any money. That's the real question. But I'm not trying to knock it. But some of the films, when you add everything up, they might just be breaking even. But for what it did, it's a drama. I think it's a good drama to watch if you're in the mood. Now, if you're more of like Shadow said, where he wants to watch a blockbuster, it's probably not quite up there. But if you're more for a drama that has action, this is where to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for being, I've seen a lot of historical based movies just done wrong, and this is not one of them. I can think of 2 historical movies that are done wrong. No, I'm not going to say Cocaine Bear, their Shadow.
I thought you were going to say Robin Hood.
Well, even if they're incorrect, I mean, and not that I've seen Zulu Dawn, but we have to admit Zulu is a great movie if you watch that.
It's like Braveheart.
Oh yeah,
I can pick that movie apart. It's one of my favorite movies, but I can still pick it apart. No,
Winter Soldier is probably my favorite as far as historical.
Yeah. So next week we will be talking about horse racing. There will be tracks, gambling, and the Bible.
And let's not forget, you got everything. You got ocean battle scenes. You got you got chariot races. You've got the a prince that's been laid down to a slave who then comes back up. I mean, yeah, it's got everything you'd ever want in a blockbuster film. Speaking of a little side note, Connell, have you watched Ivanhoe, the 1950s version?
Not yet. I watched this movie today. Yesterday, it's on my list.
Yesterday you probably don't even remember. So
no, I remember yesterday. It's most of this Friday night that's fuzzy. Oh, and if you go out drinking, make sure to always keep an eye on your drink.
True.
But other than that, I got really nothing else. Great movie. I love hanging out with you guys. Everything that, like I said, I think everything that needed to be said about the movie was knocked out within the first hour of this movie. Unless we want to hear Jack give a historical speech about the evils of not being Catholic. I got nothing.
I could, but
I know, and nobody wants that.
well,
Your dad wants that. I think you should go spend some time with your dad, tell him the evilness of not being Catholic. I think the rest of us will appreciate that.
Yeah. Especially being a Baptist, like.
Hey, wait a minute. You know the difference between a Baptist and a Methodist? Right?
I know the difference between a Baptist and a Methodist. Not the particulars, but yeah.
Well, no, because at the liquor store, the Methodists will wave at each other.
Wow.
Oh, that's an old joke. I wasn't sure if.
Good one.
The hell was that?
Leaf blower?
Yeah, my mom's using the leaf blower.
Somebody making margaritas?
You're only allowed to have margaritas once your blood level drops again below, 0.1 there, Connell. So you got a couple of weeks to go.
Hey, you can have virgin margaritas. They're no fun, but you can have them.
I'm not even touching that one.
I'm not going there.
You can only imagine where my mind just went.
If I'm sick, one of my favorite things is.
No, you meant to drink. Sorry.
yeah.
Yeah. Pervert. I'm sorry. You've been doing it for a while. I mean, provert.
That's fair.
Hey, you know what? If anyone remembers watching, at some point, I still want to bring up Doctor Strangelove. So, here's or how I learned with the prevert. How do I know you're not a prevert?
Oh, Lord. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up here. Shadow, what do you got going on this coming week?
Well, tonight the little guy and I are going to do some painting on camera. We got a couple of things to show off and something pretty big you guys might be interested in. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. And then, it's right there in the title, Shadow and Son, father and son, doing some goofy game stuff. Since the little guy's got the week off, we'll probably do a few more videos. I'll be doing some of my solo things in the morning, hanging out with Hungar, the Star Variant on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, provided everything's, okay with him. And, yeah, that's it. But I don't know if you saw, but Jade wants to do a meeting for gatekeepers shortly after this show. And as long as it doesn't run late, I can come in and help with that. But other than that, just a more or less regular kind of week. We've got all kinds of stuff coming up shortly. Painting, reviews, maybe some craft. We haven't done a craft in a while, but I've been honestly not inspired. I've had so much Dungeons and Lasers to assemble and paint that it's taken up a lot of time because it was, almost 150 miniatures, and I can't even call one of them, completed yet.
Those things are pretty labor intensive, huh?
Between the assembly, then the painting,
Right.
yeah. Some of them are really simple to assemble, but I
Okay.
really like to get the mold lines and the filing and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And I really enjoy that process. And the miniatures are just stunning, and they're, super cheap, if you don't mind, waiting 9 months to get them
Mhm.
because of the Kickstarter, because their Kickstarters are always early. They say it'll be done by next year. And the new Kickstarter kicks off April 4th, and it's going to be pretty big. Not a lot of terrain, though, unfortunately. So we'll see, but it definitely boasts a lot of miniatures. They've got 4 separate chunks of miniatures in 4 separate factions at less than about $100 per 100 miniature section, which will also include a mountain of free stuff because that's how they roll.
And where are they out of?
Poland.
Okay, see, that's what gets me about, a lot of them, these Kickstarters. I don't mind when they deliver early. I'm quite happy for that. But you gotta be realistic. Sometimes they have this unrealistic time scale. And you're like, no, that just makes people angrier. It's much easier to say, "Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, and a half."
They have never been late, as far as I know. Maybe the first one was a little late, but even during COVID, they were 3 months early. So
Well, I'm assuming that they're coming out of Poland and not China. That was the big factor.
thank God, yes. That's one of the main things I look at now is if it comes out of China. Sorry, got to pass. You guys, they intentionally screw the process up over there. I'm still waiting on the Shadows of Brimstone Kickstarter. It's going on 4 years late.
Oh, well, wait a minute. I've got Kingdom Death Monster, and I'm still waiting for what was it? It's supposed to be out in 2018 for Wave 3 or 2019 for Wave 3. So, yeah. And public in 2024, 2025 at this point.
That's unacceptable.
Well, I would, but, once you're in, unfortunately, and despite what everyone says, a Kickstarter it's kind of like an investment. I say but it's you put it in there and you're good luck at getting anything out of it if it goes belly up. That's people look at like a pre-order and it's not. So
No, it's
Right.
it's definitely an investment. And if you're not prepared to wait, don't, because just about everything eventually comes out later. Even with Shadows of Brimstone, every single item that they said was a Kickstarter exclusive is now available. And to be honest, if you shop at Miniature Market, you can actually get it cheaper after the fact than by the Kickstarter.
well, in Miniature Market, yeah, but I mean those are all what was it there? Oh, did anyone see their my God, when they had the Joan of Arc stuff for their cut rate prices? I was like, holy crap.
No, didn't see it.
It was insane for 24 hours. Thank God that it sold out before I could buy it. So I'm like, well, you just saved me several $100s. I'm not paying the full price.
There's only been a few things I've seen Kickstarter out there that I've actually thought about throwing money at. But as of most, I'm like, whatever, and I just normally walk away because I don't mind being patient. If you good things normally come for those who wait. At least that's how the theory goes. But I don't know. I haven't really found one where I'm wanting. Like the last one I saw that kind of caught my interest was a fantasy RPG, fifth edition usable, and it was for Irish and Scottish mythos. And I'm like going down, so you give it $20 and you get the book, and then it goes down. If you give us $1,000, you get everything and a car. I'm like, I'm not giving anybody $1,000 over gaming stuff.
There's some of them like I don't mind getting the really big, huge things, but like Monster Apocalypse, I was hoping to play that. At this rate, when it comes out, my son will be 18, and I was kind of hoping to play it with him over Christmas last year, and because Mythic has really they got burned really bad for their whole stuff, and you can tell if they don't have the money to go for that. But with the Darkest Dungeon incident, but the whole thing, even for the books that I like, it's they used to do it. They used to say 12 to 18 months. Now they're saying 2 years at least to get out a lot of the RPG books. But yeah, it's it's definitely a whole thing.
Well, Kyle, you might want to look into the new Dungeons and Lasers because it's based on a 400 monster manual that's entirely 5th edition compatible, and then they're making all 400 monsters that are going to be in the book.
I'll have to look into it. I mean, my favorite thing about miniatures, it doesn't matter what edition it's played for. Miniatures are always good miniatures. But yeah, I'll have to look into it. I don't know. There was a one I saw on Facebook called Ragnarok. One of my friends just picked it up. I want to see what that one's about. There's another one called the Oathbreaker that looks interesting. There's a bunch of them that are out there. I'm just not gaming, other than doing it, for work, but actually not gaming at a table with actual people kind of has put the kibosh to me wanting to buy anything module or campaign wise, because it's just a pain. Sometimes it's a huge pain in the ass to transfer it from a physical copy into a digital copy, especially if you don't get the digital copy that goes with it. So that's kind of been my hold off. I don't know. I think I'm gonna buy a couple more of these bastards though.
What is that from?
This is technically a fig from Magic the Gathering called the Cosmo Wolf, but I think this is my new Norse mythology guy. Fenrir. I don't know. I got that one. And I picked up a dire wolf. So I don't know. Think about painting out a pack. And anymore, I've basically been paying attention to monsters and terrain. I don't really, other than the one that I won in Shadow's raffle with a bunch of freak people, which I don't really like painting people, to be honest. I just suck at it. But other than that, I don't know. I like painting figs more than I like anything else these days. So, what do you got going on, Mark?
Hopefully book synopsis review either tonight or tomorrow night, and then start diving into looking at some media revolving around time travel.
Ooh, I like time travel. We did a thing on Gatekeepers a couple months ago about time traveling. It was I had fun with it. I don't know if Shadow did, but I know I did.
Zathras? No. Yeah, you got the reference there, Shadow. I'm not sure.
Hell yeah. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure I bumped into him in real life.
Oh, that's cool. I'm now just
not the actor, the actual character.
Oh, okay. No, Shadows. Brian asked if I could play a game today, and I was like, nah, I can't because I got my son. So I'll try doing that probably Saturday. Over there for the weird world. What is it?
Weird World War II.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I really dig his stuff. He and his wife got a good thing going, and I hope they become a household name, I guess.
All right, what do I got going on? I will not be on Gatekeepers this week because I will be doing that weird thing I like to call gaming. But you can check out Shadow and Jade on Gatekeepers when they will be talking about awards that doesn't just involve XP or gold. I think is the topic today. Topic for this coming Wednesday. Thursday, you'll find me, Shadow, Bruce, Jade, Stink Kai, and Baron G Rock at Table Breakers, where we will be doing the second night of Bruce's system that he's making, his tryout for a system, which so far I'm having fun with. Then won't see me Friday because I'll be playing Warhammer RPG, which is it's really fun. I'm actually kind of digging it. Then I think the next time you all will see me, unless I do a show with Omanow and whoever else decides to show up, will be this coming Sunday where we will be talking about another movie, Ben Hur, and the bumps, the polls, the whatever comes along with that movie. So I hope everybody have a safe weekend and be nice to each other. If you can't, well, just say it louder.
All right.
Wow, what is that bird?
Oh, it's a thing that we took from my friend's house who was moving. That when you walk next to it, it makes bird noises.
Oh, okay. You know what? You know what? We have something like that. It's called birds. No,
they don't have those.
It's the Latino version of the what was it, Billy Bass or Big Mouth Bass? Yeah. That singing bass thing. It's the equivalent.
Yeah, pretty much.
I had a, those, you can find them at Cracker Barrel. Well, you can find a version of them at Cracker Barrel. The parakeet that you push a button and it'll talk to you. It repeats whatever you say. It mimics whatever you say. It's a little toy. I bought one for those who remember, was that show, that place, Spencer's. Spencer's used to be a shop at malls, back when malls existed. But this bird was different than the other bird. This bird will outrightly cuss at you. Saying such thing as Polly wants a fucking cracker. Give Polly a fucking cracker now. It was amazing. Then my daughter broke it. And I think my ex-wife was happier.
That sounds fun, but
to each their own. Everybody have a good weekend. Shall say goodbye.
Take care, everybody. God bless.
Bye-bye.
And Mark is out.